Kanpai. Hands. What are hands? Welcome everyone to Kanpai Cast episode 241, where we are haunting the narrative. Ooh. But before we do that, we've got the regular, the algorithmic stuff. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We've got audio versions on Spotify as well as your other favorite podcasting sources, as long as you just go grab the RSS feed. We have a Discord that you can come join and hang out with me and Thaylien and Xeno when he's around, talking about your favorite anime OPs or what's going on this season. And of course, you can also visit Xeno's Patreon, where you're basically supporting me doing editing work for his various projects. And you can also come hang out with us when we stream, usually on Mondays and Thursdays. I think that's it. All right, so haunting the narrative, Thaylien. This was another great idea you came up with. Why don't you tell us about it?
So, somebody mentioned haunting the narrative to me, and it's got a couple of similar things, but the most prevalent one is when we talked about fridging on a previous show. Because fridging is where a character dies specifically to cause the narrative to happen, right? But haunting the narrative, or some people might call it, say, present absence. So they are absent but seem to be present at the same time. They hang around and are felt throughout the show. Yeah, so the basis of this one are that the character is developed and present, and their motives and viewpoints are felt throughout the show in some way. Characters,
they're not just an inciting incident. They're not just an inciting incident.
No, they're not just a plot-related death. Yeah. And I feel the important distinction is actually made clear by Delicious in Dungeon. Right? Because you would think that Thaylien, right at the start, sacrificing herself to get everybody out of the dungeon so that they can come in again, is fridging the character. But her story is told through the perspectives of the rest of the characters throughout the whole show until they get down to the point of finding her again. Her presence, her choices, the way she reacted to things. The audience finds out about her, just like all the other characters, but she's not physically there in the scenes. And specifically, our two blonde idiots on screen right now, they make their choices specifically because of who Thaylien is and what she's done. So,
like when we get to see the flashback of Thaylien and Marcille in maid school. Yes. And now we understand why Marcille makes some of the choices she does.
Yes, exactly. So you learn about Thaylien's values through the flashbacks, and you see how that's being passed on to Marcille and how she's actually changing and making different decisions in this, situation than she would have had before that she met Thaylien. And the same with her brother. The sacrifice that Thaylien made for him changes how he's approaching this. I mean, yes, he has his overwhelming hyperfixation on trying out food in the dungeon, but
and counting catgirl nipples.
Definitely. But he's the reason he's doing that is not just to save his sister. It's because of the things that his sister did for him in the first place, and it will continue to be for him if he manages to bring her back. It's a very different way of approaching that, and I feel that the character living on gives her a real presence in the show that we as an audience feel we know the character long before we actually meet her properly. You see?
I kind of want to take a different approach. No, personally, I want to take a different approach to this conversation, in the fact that I question whether or not there is a substantial enough difference between haunting the narrative and the girlfriend in the fridge, right?
Yes, that's a great way to take this. And I would argue that there absolutely is, because the girlfriend in the fridge is never explored. The character is an inciting incident that doesn't get screen time afterwards. We don't even know.
Doesn't even really get
beforehand.
referenced in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they're just the cause with no effect. The main character can go on and live their life with no change. I mean, they would change possibly if that character was alive, but the fact that they're dead is more important than who the character is.
Before the show, Thaylien and I were actually discussing this in terms of Evangelion and Yui Ikari. If you want to explore that one a little bit. So before the what a coincidence that we have Adam on the screen right now. Before the series even begins, right? Yui dies, and she is in many ways the inciting incident for all of the events in Evangelion. Yes,
for
the angels would
benefit. Yui is
Gendo's
Shinji
wife
Ikari's
and
mother.
Shinji's mother. Yeah.
Yes.
And also the soul of Unit 1, but that's another matter. Also maybe Unit 0, we don't entirely know.
no.
In some way,
Just
also
Unit 1.
Infinite Rays.
Yeah. So she dies in the experiments that they're doing in Antarctica, in uncovering, Adam and all that good stuff, working on basic instrumentality. And for Gendo, it is the inciting incident. It informs everything he does, but he never really talks about her outside of a couple times. And but for Shinji, it's entirely different. She is haunting his story. He learns about her through other characters and through his interactions with Unit 1. And so she is always there for him, always a part of the story, even though he never really knew her, growing up. So that, and I think that's a pretty good...
Her ideals being passed on through the places that she is present.
Yeah, the other characters that talk
greatly.
to him. Yeah.
So it's interesting. You and I had a talk about this as well, Xeno. And what you sparked off in me is the idea that it is based on which character you're talking about. So for Gendo, for the rest of Nerve, she's the inciting incident. She's the girlfriend in the fridge. They don't care who she was, just that she was and that she died.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I do feel that for Gendo, the evil mastermind behind all these shenanigans, girlfriend in the fridge.
His whole goal is to bring her back, so it doesn't matter what else is happening.
But for Shinji, I'm damn well sure in the original series, he didn't know his mum was part of Eva 1, maybe until the very end.
Yeah.
I really can't remember.
Yeah.
But still, can one... So, is the argument that even though we cannot perceive the actions of the haunting is still happening?
Well, again,
Because
it's not just his interactions with the Unit 1. It's the way he discusses her with other people, the way that Rei looks like her, and the way that Gendo prioritizes Rei instead of him because Rei is a copy of Yui. These are all things that lend to the haunting.
But the problem with bringing other individuals like Gendo is that for Gendo's actions are based on the girlfriend in the fridge.
Yes.
Right? So the argument can be made, I feel the argument can be made, that anything Gendo does, including interacting with Rei over Shinji, is
yes,
more
but we're talking
of
about
a...
Shinji's perception of that. For Shinji,
Yes.
it is his mom haunting the scene when Gendo is interacting more with Rei because Rei looks like, or is a copy of Yui, right? That for Gendo again.
I don't remember Shinji expressing.
Shinji doesn't know
that.
then it's because of Yui, but
Well, no, I don't remember him expressing the fact that, oh, you look like my mum. You know?
No, but there was a specific line that people keep drawing back to, which is when they're in school, and he says, the way that she was like wringing out a cloth into the bucket was just like a mother would do.
yeah.
So he was picking up on something that he didn't know but could feel.
Even his
then comes...
even his emotional reactions to like Rei, that are because she reminds him of Yui.
Right. So I have a follow-up question, and please bear with the question.
Yeah, go on.
When it comes to the girlfriend in the fridge, can that ever be a subconscious thing? Because the wringing of the cloth, for Shinji wasn't conscious, it was subconscious, right? But every instance I have known of the girlfriend in the fridge is a conscious one. Like they are massively impacted by the fact that they have the death of another character. It's not something that is, a subconscious impact.
One of the
Which is why Gendo has
the
has
keywords
the
one of the keywords in the trope definition is that the first method people can use for haunting the narrative, or this present absence, is that they subtly guide the character's actions. Right? They don't directly interfere. They're absent from the film or from the show entirely for that point, but their presence is felt, not their actuality, not them the person, but their presence, their being there in the universe is felt. So that's a very subtle way to put it, but the fact that they are there in a form that can't be seen is one of the key ways that it's haunting the narrative, because they're like a ghost.
To me, this is just sparking memories of anyone that's watched Futurama, where there's that nebula that's basically God, and if you do just enough, no one can be sure you did anything at all.
If you do it right, yeah, but yeah.
If you do, yeah. So it kind of feels like, unless, I mean, to me personally, if the influence is not grand enough, then the argument is, well, were they even there? I think we had a discussion, Thaylien, where, or was it the three of us? I can't remember. Where it was talking about when Ava Unit 1 goes berserk, and that can be considered more haunting the narrative in terms of Yui than probably the influences of Rei or Misato.
I would say actually the times when Shinji, that is kind of close, yeah. Because when Shinji reaches full synchronization, you see like that blue flame that's supposed to represent his mom's soul. And like, the one time where he gets dissolved inside the LCL, you see a bunch of, weird, freaky stuff where he is essentially interacting with the ghost of his mom. And she's trying to get to know him and see who he is now.
Wasn't that wasn't him merging with the LCL?
That is one of the Berserk times, yeah.
That was the Berserk time, yeah, okay.
Yes. And that's one of those things. It would be, the original Berserk scene, we're seeing it on screen.
There were two, if I remember correctly, there were two. And in the first one, he doesn't dissolve into LCL. He just passes out. but the second one does.
Yeah, so I think the first Berserk is a really good example of Yui's interference.
Yeah.
Because she's just reunited with her son, as it were, and he's just gone unconscious and been attacked, and she goes into the Evangelion equivalent of Mama Bear mode and destroys the enemy for him.
God, I need to watch the original series again.
Yeah, so that savagery is definitely a brutal reaction of a parent defending a child.
Oh, you also see it when Ava moves to protect Shinji from falling debris. You also see it when Unit 0 tries to attack Gendo. You know, there are a lot of times when Yui's presence is felt.
Is Yui in Unit 0 as well?
Yes, well, kind of. So Yui's soul was split between the original Rei and Unit 1. And the original Rei's soul got dissolved into Unit 0, so half of Yui's soul is in Unit 0.
Okay, I don't want to spend too much longer on Evangelion, because I don't know how much of our audience are going to be like, oh my god, are they still talking about Evangelion? Or what the fuck? I watched Evangelion once, and like, that's not what, I remember at all. I mean, everyone remembers this photo, but that's besides the point.
We do have a lot of other ones to talk about.
So I think I would like to pivot to one of the ones I put forward, which I think is a very straightforward, easy win. Unfortunately, not for the not for the good series, but for the bad series. And that is Berserk.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, I'm not talking about the Golden Age.
I'm talking about
post the Day of the Prophecy, where effectively, not only do you see all the changes in Guts trying to track down and hunt down Griffith, but you also see the changes to the world, how demons are becoming more and more ever present, how humans are becoming corrupted by Baelets being given to them. You see a hell of a lot of the chaos that has been wrought by this enigmatic villain who has now effectively, as far as I can tell, become a god.
Ascended beyond the mortal realm at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it kind of put me a bit on a track of villains who really haunt the narrative over...
But...
Yes?
Before you get too deep into this, would you say that Casca would be a fringe character? I mean, we do know a hell of a lot about her before she ends up being...
Oh, that's
what happens
absolutely brilliant, Nasuth. Because Casca, this is the character of Casca was pretty much erased because of the eclipse, the events of the Day of the Prophecy.
But she's still a motivation for
Casca,
Guts.
the person, is still there.
But Casca, the body, is still there.
Yes.
But not Casca, the person.
Well,
Casca, the mind, that's really true. So this plays into Guts' character being haunted by so many things. He's haunted by the events of the eclipse. He's haunted by Griffith, constantly wanting to chase him down. He's haunted by Casca, who is actually present and with him in the later parts of the manga, but he's alive, but not there.
I don't think. Well, I mean, like, I don't know if you've caught up with the manga. I think I'm up to date, but
everyone's back, baby.
What?
I'm just saying everyone's back because I know at one point spoilers happened with Griffith, and I'm pretty sure other spoilers happened with Casca.
Yes, other spoilers do happen, but I think it is. Casca is definitely a haunting character because, like, with with the fridging, I argue that their climactic absence directs the motivation of the hero character, but Casca's haunting presence shifts the direction in multiple different ways.
Yes.
Right? I think like the 2016 or the 2017 anime covers, oh god, what's the name of that stupid city? It's like the Holy Seed City or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Nasuth?
I do, but I don't remember the name. Maybe I can find it real fast.
No, it's fine as long as you know what I'm talking about. But you know, the only reason why Guts travels there is because he's trying to rescue Casca.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, just putting in Berserk 2016 city, I don't think is going to help at all. There's so many cities.
Maybe
the city of humans
might get you the answer.
Oh, it might be the Holy City.
Something like that. So this is the fun thing. So Griffith is definitely haunting the narrative because all of Griffith's choices. Casca can't be fridged because she was a full character, fully explored and fully developed before the incident. And then the fact that she's then not that character for the rest of until events happen for a huge chunk of the manga, but she's physically present.
But see, my argument here would be that she becomes less important than his revenge on Griffith, and so as Griffith takes over, she diminishes to a fridge character.
I disagree because
I will disagree with that.
You know, like Guts does a lot of. It's not Windrum.
No, that's.
I think it might be Doldry.
Yeah.
Scroll up.
Guts tries to leave her in safety, and that fails. So he has to keep her with him after that.
Yeah,
and that changes the dynamic of his adventure. Adding more people to his group, that shapes how he goes forward from that point. But again, still, there's everything that Griffith did holds meaning forevermore in the story, and the fact that he is entirely absent until spoiler events. Yeah, that whole portion of the story after the Day of Prophecy, the eclipse. All of that, he is the driving force of Guts' choices, the revenge he's seeking, but also Griffith's choices branded him with the mark. So every dangerous thing that happens to Guts from there on is Griffith. Every time a monster comes sniffing around, every time bad things happen to him.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
No, there's one minor exception, I would say, and that's Guts picking up the Berserker armor. That was a choice that he made in order to protect everyone.
Well, but no.
But that's you could say that's both a good and bad thing. That's a two-bladed sword rather than a bad thing happening to him.
I'm pretty positive he's gotten in fights before that weren't involved with Griffith. And then they realized that he was branded and were like, oh shit, this is going to be double good if I can get you.
No, I think the problem that, I think the situation that Thaylien is highlighting is the fact that Guts can't effectively sleep. Because if he ever tries to sleep during the night, he's going to get gone. Sure, yeah. Right? Yeah. So when the veil between the mortal plane and the
I know that
plane
happens a lot. Yeah.
So like he can't realistically sleep, and you get the idea.
Anyway, probably neither here nor there.
That's his point. Even though there's fights he gets into, but the reason he's getting into those fights, the reason he's even in that situation, is because of what Griffith did. He's ruined the world and made people.
I was actually going to say. You could almost say that the old world is haunting the narrative. The Golden Age arc of the world is haunting the narrative because that world is just gone, and yet it is still like
the choices made there.
That's one of the things that Guts is mourning is the old world, you know.
Yeah. So is the Golden Age the girlfriend in the fridge, and the haunting of the narrative is Griffith and Casca?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
That's a debate for later, as it were.
This is a series or a manga or an anime that I would argue is a prime example of haunting, not fridging. Evangelion, I feel that there's too many instances of fridge. This is fridge. You can argue this is fridge. I don't think you can argue Berserk.
Actually, you could say that Ritsuko's mother, who made Magi and then put her brain in Magi,
we're not going back to Evangelion. I just realized you're going back to Evangelion. We're not going back to Evangelion. Do you want to move on?
Yeah. Can we do Fruits Basket quickly? I mean, it's not on the list, but it's one of those shows that I
will get it for you now.
Oh, I didn't update my checkboard again after you added those. Haha.
Yeah, you're not the only one. There you go, Fruits Basket.
So, Fruits Basket, the overarching point of Toru's whole world is that her mother and father died. And how to get into that? She feels an entire kind of love that's hard to describe for her mother and for her father. She's a positive girl, and so she sees her mother as this shining light. And even more than that, her friends, everybody that knew Toru's mother, saw her as a guiding light, somebody to look up to, somebody good and whose choices would affect them. So you see Toru's friends staying her friends and so fierce because of what her mother did for her. Because Toru's mother brought them in and made them a family. And they go to visit her grave to celebrate on her rather than mourn, rather than grieve. They held a picnic there every year to celebrate the fact that she was wild and full of life, and that she was a badass who set a good example. Then the same thing gets passed on to whoever Toru deals with. The same values of inclusivity and love are what drives Toru through the choices she makes around the Soma family.
But this screams to me fridging. This is like, death of a character. It's like, it's not they're still around and there's an absence. This is like, nope, they died and they're carrying on.
They died, yes. But again, the audience and other characters learn about her. They make choices based on who she was. She's a developed character, and the plot doesn't start because she died. Toru is who she is because she lived. So the death of the character is not the inciting incident. She can't be a girlfriend or it can't be in the fridge because she's not the cause of any of this.
I need you to clarify, because I don't think...
Again, fridging is an inciting incident. Fridging is meant to traumatize the character. Fridging is meant to
lead to character development.
Yeah, it will lead to characters setting off on whatever journey they're doing. It doesn't matter who the fridge character is, just that they're dead. The whole point of making the trope of the fridge character is because the character that gets fridged, nobody cares about them except posthumously, except for the fact they're dead. Right? You very rarely learn anything about a fridged character. You very rarely have any care for who that character was to even the person that it happened to. That's why it became a trope, is that the original character, the Green Lantern it happened to, in his story, the only reason she existed in the story was for his enemies to kill her so that he would be in despair and his will would fail and wouldn't be a Green Lantern anymore.
Yeah, but at the same time... But at the same time, like, you know, so we've established quite clearly that Griffith and Fallon are brilliant milestones to the motivation of the characters. Like, they are choosing to do things based on the perpetual existence, or pseudo inexistence in Fallon's case, to carry on, and, you know, it affects their motivations. But with Toru's mum, mum is 100% absent. She ain't coming back. She's
but she doesn't. Again, haunting narrative characters don't have to come back. They can be dead. The whole point is that they are developed, that people cared about them, and the fact that multiple people in this situation care about them, whether negatively or positively, like negatively in Griffith's case, positively in Casca's case, they make choices based on who that person was, or who that person still is if they're just absent. And and they evolve and find out more about that person.
Okay, so Nasuth has in front of us.
It's an AI summary, but I think it actually does a pretty good job of it.
You want to spit it out?
All right. So the difference is that that it listed between the woman in the fridge and haunting the narrative. The function for the woman is to be a launch pad for the hero's journey, while for the haunting the narrative, it is ongoing, emotional, or thematic center to the story. In the presence, the woman is largely forgotten, while the haunter dominates the story. Character development is minimal, defined by victimhood for the woman, while the haunter is often idealized into a symbol. Narrative treatment discarded for the woman. Just like I said, she's pretty much forgotten after the hero starts down their path. While for the haunter, it's obsessed over. And then I listed a core problem, which. Sure, the woman is disposable. The haunter is objectified.
In mythologization, so she's made into almost a myth.
Yeah.
To clarify, we're talking about the fridged, as opposed to just, you know, the...
Yes, woman in the fridge, sorry. The fridged versus haunter.
The woman in the fridge is disposable. The haunter is often made into a myth and objectified, put on a pedestal because of... The woman's a launch pad, largely forgotten, minimal character, discarded narrative treatment, and disposable in general. The haunter is... woman in the fridge, The haunter is ongoing through the story, dominates the narrative, often idealized into a symbol, obsessed over, and very, very often objectified through mythologization. So they're, like, seen as better than they were. You know, you can even say that Gendo idolizes told
Yui.
Stories of...
So I get where Thalien's coming from in this regard. I really do, because Toru's mum from Fruits Basket, not Kobayashi Dragon Maid. Toru's mum definitely covers the vast majority of those checkboxes, but I feel like there's such subtle nuance between.
They're very similar.
They are so damn similar. It's like, you know, this is the difference between a genre of pop and a genre of electro pop, and wait, what's the difference? And you know, it's
in a sense, but it's more it's more definable difference in terms of, say,
this only
pop rock versus punk rock, and there's some clear narrative tropes differences there.
I've just realized this is only categorizing haunting the narrative in terms of a woman who I think it might have gotten confused in how I wanted it to. But either way, I think those are still pretty good.
Those are some. That's exactly the key differences.
Like it puts your male characters are defined largely by their grief, but I don't think it's limited to just male characters.
No, And again, it's fairly gender neutral in that respect. You found some really good points there.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to make this a discussion, because we discussed fridging, right? This is like the polar
counterpart to it.
Opposite counterpart to the dead person in anime.
So,
right, where one's been fridged and it's a whole negative connotation, where the other is haunting and it's a positive connotation to the story. See?
So the one of the points that I have, if Nasuth, can you bring back the chart?
Oh, sure.
You know, the table. So, like, largely forgotten versus dominates the story. Like, that is the most subjective thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd argue that, you know, Toru's mum is largely forgotten, but it's you know,
she's kind of mentioned every second episode, and
is she?
Stories are told about her. Yeah, surprisingly.
Is she? I remember a couple of episodes, and that was it.
So they when people talk about Toru's mum, they often talk about Toru, and they wind up talking about Toru's mum if the conversation goes on long enough. So, and of course, Toru actually does find out more about her own parents through her grandfather and through the few people that actually knew her ahead of time. So it's, you know, the story expands on that character, which, well, she's not dominating the story, but she does dominate Toru's whole perception of the world.
Do we want to move on to another one?
Indeed. So I noticed some interesting ones in here, but I think a good one would be Trigun.
I was going to say, I would, since we put that in.
And Nasuth pointed out, knives.
Yeah. Well, not just knives, though. Knives and Rem. There's two really good examples in here that I think go each way. I think knives is super haunting the narrative. Because do you want to take this, because we've been talking for a little while, and you haven't had a bunch of had much time to
oddly enough, I feel like you haven't said anything. So, like,
really?
Okay, well,
go on, Nasuth.
Knives, I feel, is very much haunting the narrative. He was extremely well set up in the beginning of the lore, not the story, because obviously we need to set ground for who Vash was. But nearly all of Vash's choices are based on either Knives' active presence or his overall influence. You know, he brought humanity down to the wrong planet. He was trying to kill them off. Vash is doing everything he can to keep humanity going, while
even their philosophies in life are direct opposites and informed by each other. Even their philosophies of life, you know, how spider versus the fly, essentially, or butterfly. But everything they do is informed off of each other's philosophy because of that.
Yeah. So Knives is out just to make a world for Vash and himself, and he doesn't even care about the gung ho guns that he fabricated to,
Well, one of the members of Gung Ho Guns is convinced that it's a good thing that all the humans are going to die off, including himself, in the process.
They're nihilists.
But when it comes to Rem, I just feel 100% she's a girlfriend in the fridge.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would. Well,
aside from the one thing that Rem that really carries Rem through the story is, again, the spider and the butterfly, because her whole ideal was that the spider and the butterfly can live together in harmony, whereas Knives thinks it's impossible. And so the fact that Vash is still clinging to that, you could argue is haunting the narrative, but I don't think that's enough. I think that mostly now is powered by his desire to prove Knives wrong than to uphold Rem's, ideals.
My understanding from Thaylien's argument with Fruits Basket is that there were multiple stories revolving around Toru's parents, not just the one story.
There's really only the one about Rem,
Yes.
And that's what Rem is lacking. Like, she just has that one moment.
A short time with them, and while it's expanded on, or while the more details arrive on it, the message never changes, the perception of them never changes, and you don't have anyone else's point of view apart from Knives and Vash. They're the only two in the story that knew her. Whereas
even the people on
Tori's
the ship that's still floating, I don't think they knew her because they're on a different ship.
Nope. They woke up later.
Yeah.
As well. And so the key with Tori's mum is that multiple people knew her and have stories and are able to talk about her and idealize her as well. And that's how even Tori finds out more about her mother. So, not just the audience. Whereas in the case of Rem, only the audience is finding out more about Rem. The two of them never really tell anybody about who Rem was, just some of the lessons they learned from her.
Yeah.
So, we have a fridge and we have a haunter in the same show, which is fun as a motivation.
Right. I want to kick the hornet's nest. I want to kick it hard.
Okay.
So, Death Note. Right.
Oh, this one we had a conversation on.
We did.
Yes.
Nasuth, I don't think the wallpapers
That's not Death Note.
reacted properly. Yeah. Can you just refresh it for me?
It's just easier with that. Let me find it. There we go.
There we go. Right.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring up Death Note, bless you, is because of L, right?
Okay.
L's influence in Death Note, and I haven't watched the full thing, but I still make this argument, is...
After he dies and N shows up?
Nope.
No.
L's presence throughout the core part of Death Note is a huge driving factor, a huge motivating factor of Light trying to find out who he is. Right? All Light is trying to do is, get rid of this obstacle in front of him so that he can continue down his Kira ways. Right? And the barrier to Light getting what he wants is the anonymity of L. Right?
So you're not
L's
saying that L haunts the narrative. You're saying that L's true identity haunts the narrative.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I see.
So
okay.
This is where...
Because L is very active, obviously, throughout the entire story. But his true identity hangs above them like a ghost that is constantly pushing Light's...
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I don't know.
Because if L wasn't in the picture, and Light was able to do his Kira antics...
Or if Light knew L's real name.
Yeah. He'd just be able to do whatever he wanted. I mean, the whole driving motivation, as far as I understand it, as soon as Light discovers who what L's real name is, right, he got rid of L.
Yep.
Yes.
So as soon as that anonymity disappeared, bam.
I would even say that he haunts the narrative after that. I would actually say it's more clear that he haunts the narrative after that, because N is constantly obsessed
I would say he
over him.
only haunts the narrative after that, because anonymity doesn't change the fact that the character is present and interacting with the other characters.
No, but he's not saying that the character is the haunter.
No, he's
saying
not.
that the
I
perception
don't think
of the
anonymity
character is the
in
haunter.
itself.
I think I tend to agree with you, but I see where Xeno's coming from, so I want to try and play devil's advocate on this.
Xeno expressed it far more clearly than he did in our earlier conversation. I disagree with him because that anonymity is not a character in and of itself. It is mystique about L. It is an unknown thing that is trying to be discovered, and that's no different to say something that's unrevealed about Shinji's mother or about Fallen it's something that might not be known, but that doesn't make it that isn't what makes them haunt the narrative.
No, but I disagree, right? Because this whole anonymity part of the relationship between Light and L is the biggest driving factor.
Is an ongoing emotional / thematic center. It does dominate the story. I don't know if it's often idealized into a symbol, but it is obsessed over.
But Nasuth,
and I'd say it's even mythologized.
With that list you've got, this list you've got is missing the one key thing that makes a fridging or haunting the narrative possible.
It must be about a character.
It's their absence as a character.
Yeah,
okay?
But that
character is present to the start and comes back.
L's real identity is absent.
Is still L.
But even it's absent. But his real identity is absent.
It's not like he's changed who he is. He's just hidden his name.
For all intents and purposes, he has changed who he is because Light doesn't know his real name.
See, I would agree with Xeno if L was only present via mysterious voice communication.
Why does that make a difference?
Because he's not physically present or interacting via any other medium than just a disguised voice.
I don't see that makes a difference.
There'd be no way
for the
characters to actually have a visual reference or know who L was as a person through interactions.
But Vash knew who Trigun was. Vash knew who Knives was.
But Knives wasn't there.
Right.
Between the start of the show and the point where he came back at the end.
Right.
So his absence is what makes him haunting, because he's a ghost character. He's not there. The fact that L is there and interacting with the characters and bouncing off them and providing But
he's also influencing everything he's doing.
Yes. And because he's an actual character. He's not haunting, he's a character. So he can't haunt if he's actually in the room. It's like
here's the argument.
Like if you were visiting me,
is L's identity in the room with you right now?
In arm's reach of me, and I said, "Is there a presence here?" And you said, "Yeah, it's me, you fucking idiot."
Right. Here's the argument. Right. Light knows his dad. Light knows what his dad's real name is. He doesn't have any massive influence from his dad. Like, he does everything. No. Everything Light does is based on the incomplete information.
Of who his father was, yes.
No. The interpretation of who L is, right? His father's presence has zero impact on the narrative, right? That his father does not haunt the narrative in the slightest.
No.
Right? Yeah.
No, but
L does.
An absent character that's felt through their choices and who they are is haunting the narrative. An absent character that does not is fridged. An absent character that nobody cares about is fridged. An absent character that defines actions and changes the narrative through who they are and how the other characters remember them and do things because of them is haunting. So the fact that L is actually instigating changes in the room with them means he's a character. He can't be haunting because he's in the room.
I want to pivot to one that might help us clarify this more, because it is also extremely esoteric in what the haunter is, and that is the Big O. Because in this one, the thing that haunts the narrative is everyone's memories. Everyone in Paradigm City has lost their memory, but everything that happens is informed by either those lost memories, or either wanting to get those lost memories back, or those lost memories resurfacing in someone and making them do things. And so this is not a character. This is not, it's not developed in any way. We don't know anything about them, about the memories, really. But they dominate everything. They inform all the decisions. Would you say that this is a haunting of the narrative?
No, I'd say it's a plot device.
Interesting.
Run over it for me again, Nasuth.
Okay. everyone in Paradigm City, which is the setting here, has lost their memories. They don't remember anything about the previous world. They just all woke up one day in the modern world, and they're kind of doing the best they can. But if you get a hold of some memories, that's like amazing. People want that really desperately. There are also things that show up now and then that are from the old world, like a monster that attacks a dam, or the other bigs that show up, not just Big O. And some of these happen just randomly, and some of it happens because somebody finds a memory of the past. That's where the other bigs come in, is they find a memory of the past, and so they now understand how to use these mega juices. And so everything in this show is related in some way to the mystery of their memories and wanting them back, and trying to figure out what the old world was. And so you could argue that it is haunting the narrative. It is the main driving force for everyone.
No. I would argue that it is the narrative.
Yeah, plot device, which you could say for L's identity as well.
Yeah, so L's identity is the fact that L has a hidden identity is part of his character. It's not a separate thing from him. It can't hold the narrative on its own because it is still there, just hidden.
Let's stick with the
memories
Big O side of things.
Yeah.
I get
What's your
where
take?
Nasuth's coming from, and given the what's the name of the damn thing? Given the vague definition that Claude has given us,
the criteria,
I can easily the criteria. I can easily see what you're talking about. However, I think the problem is that when it comes to haunting or fridging, there needs to be some degree of reflection on that influences the motivation of the characters. With
and
the
they
lack
can't
of
do that
memories,
because they have no idea what they're mythologizing.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you because I was talking.
I'm saying that since they have no idea what their memories actually are, they're mythologizing this object, but they don't actually know anything about it, so it can't actually haunt the narrative. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like, yes, they're obsessed over it. Like I assume they're obsessed over the memories. Big O is not a series I've seen.
They are.
But this is akin to I want to say the Cup of Christ, as opposed to a famous person who has died. It's
Princess Diana.
Yeah. Why Diana? What the hell? Anyway,
because it's one of the most famous ones.
Shinji's mum.
Yes.
So
fair enough.
I do respect the idea that you've brought forward, but I do not. I think it's a plot device.
Okay, so now that we've settled that, can we then say that in Death Note, L's identity is a plot device?
I would agree with that statement.
Because they don't know anything about it. They can't reflect on it in any meaningful way. It's just something that's obsessed over and even kind of mythologized a little bit, you could say.
But it isn't a character in its own right.
But L is the character.
Yes,
L
exactly.
is the character.
So L's identity is not a character. L is the character who has part of his identity hidden.
I want to defer to the audience. I want to hear what the audience has to say, because
let's pop it to you guys.
I still feel that L's presence.
It's like saying that Superman and Clark Kent are different people. When he puts on the
Clark
cape,
Kent's
he's no longer
presence
Clark
holds the
Kent.
narrative.
Yeah. Because it's a secret identity. It's not,
Yes.
Yeah, let's defer to the audience.
Let's
move
go
on to another one.
Sure.
Okay, who wants to?
So we're at about the hour mark anyway. So I want to hit the golden buzzer with this one, which is Frieren. Frieren Beyond Journey's End. This is the absolute gold standard of the haunting the narrative character, posthumous characters on this thing, because Frieren's 3 best friends from her journey, the people that she came to actually care about, and the people who came to actually mean something to her and change who she is, are either dead or absent from the story entirely. They are only
now, you're going to have to
found...
clarify that, because one of them's still alive.
Yes, dead or absent from the story. So we only see a very limited amount of Aizen. Okay? He's old, he's retired, he's not there for more than... I think he actually only has an actual current era screen time
for everyone else
less than 20 minutes.
For everyone in the audience, Aizen is the dwarf character that you can kind of see peeking up above Xeno right now.
Yeah.
Who the hell hasn't watched Frieren?
I know a couple of people, surprisingly.
Well, you need to tie them up and put them in front of Frieren.
I still haven't watched all of it.
Nasuth.
But
yeah.
One of them is the person that cannot emote to animated characters that I mentioned previously. So they would do nothing. So Himmel, the hero, and Yeeture as characters are gone. But the 2 people that she's with now have close relations with Yeeture and Aizen. Okay, while Frieren herself has the relationship with Himmel. That she didn't even realize she had the relationship with Himmel while he was alive. And it seems like every episode we learn a little bit more about them. We see something more about their adventure, their choices. Himmel's philosophy is so strong, it's affecting people in the real world, where we have news things of people doing heroic things and saying it's what Hero Himmel would do. So, go on.
Just want to interject. The Demon Lord was fridged.
He was, and then brought back to be killed again. Oh no, not that one. So I'm sorry, I'm thinking the one they brought back for killing with his own magic.
What?
Oh, from the earlier part of the episode, they put one in a seal for 50 years.
Oh, no, not Zoltrak.
Yeah, that's not Zoltrak. No, the actual Demon Lord. Yes, but in the same way, we also have Flam as a character that is even more haunting in the narrative, because she trained Frieren, and all of her choices in how she trained Frieren have influence on every single bit of magic she does now, in the way she appreciates the small spells, in the way that she trained Fern, in the way that demons deal with her. All Flam's influence. And yeah, so Flam, Himmel, Aizen, Yeeture, they are the 4 characters that truly influenced Frieren, continue to do so and continue to be part of the story. And we see more and more scenes of how loved they were by Frieren and by the others that knew them.
But do they truly haunt the narrative? Fond memories aside.
Yeah.
Like,
so Frieren literally diverts herself to do things because of what they did together before. She makes choices. The spells she picks up. She picks up a spell to turn sweet red grapes bitter because Aizen prefers bitter red grapes to sweet red grapes. Yes, growing the blue flowers, finding that rare species of flower because to grow it around Himmel's statue. Everything they did, every step of the way.
Even taking Fern on, you could argue, is because of her relationship to the past.
Yeah, because of Yeeture.
Yeeture wasn't dead at the time, but their relation to the past is still like a strong presence.
Yes. And even to the point of the most recent part of the end of the most recent part of the series, up in the ice fields, they go to a place where they could earn some money because Frieren remembers it from their original trip, where they went up to keep an eye on those particular type of magical ice, and that's why they were even there. Because of Frieren's memories of the time with Himmel, where they went up there and performed a task that got them some cash.
Right, but is her having fond memories and, her acting on those fond memories
emblematic of the trope? That's the thing.
We're not...
Every choice... The whole point of this idea is that the characters' fond memories and having multiple other characters have such fond memories of them, and having put them on a pedestal, mythologized them, that their choices and their preferences influence choices in the rest of the show in the modern times, long after they're dead, long after they even stopped being a hero, as it were, and were old and grey and passed on.
But
that is the entire part of the trope.
Right, but having the show, they've been dead for a long ass time. That's just by design of the plot device that Frieren's an elf, right?
Yes.
My point is that these are all like super positive memories, and realistically, the only reason why she's doing any of this is because she wants to see Himmel again, right?
Yes.
And she's going through the whole process of what she's already done just through narrative design, not because it's...
The difference between this and Yui, though, is that you see her memories as they go along. They explain their past. You see how it affects them now.
Yes, but you still have a positive influence.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you still have a present influence from Yui, right? You still have a present influence from Knives. You still have a present influence from Griffin.
Well, that's only because those characters are technically still alive.
Dead.
Yeah.
But here's okay, Zena, let's put it this way. If we came into the show, right, and we didn't get that first episode introducing the characters in a young state, and all we got was Frieren coming back and finding that the hero Himmel had died, visiting his grave. She didn't cry, right? And she did set out to go see him again in the lands beyond, in the far north, right? And that was her driving force, was to see him again, right? If at no point did she ever say that what she was doing was because Himmel did it. At no point did she ever say what these strange choices were. She was just a quirky elf that wanted to do something. We didn't see the flashbacks. We didn't explore who Himmel was, right? That would be fridging, wouldn't it? It wouldn't matter who Himmel was. What mattered was that he died and she wants to go see him again, right? So that wouldn't be haunting the narrative. It would have fridged the character, and even if at the end of all the series we got to see him again in the lands beyond, he would have been fridged for the entire thing, and we would never have found out about him. We never found out why Frieren felt this driving force, right?
Well,
it's the narrative. The narrative is that she's doing this to because of her time there and wants to become, more in the moment and learn about people and how to be there for people, so that she doesn't feel that same kind of loss again. But because we got a fully fleshed out character before, and we keep fleshing him out, we keep seeing how his character was consistently bright and in a good influence, and how he helped people,
it's what
and
how the
friends that they had changed her as well, and they did things together. That's why a dead character can haunt the narrative just as well as a living character that's absent. This is the absolute purest form of haunting the narrative. It is a dead character, but all of Himmel's choices, the person he showed himself to be, and the person that characters keep remembering and making choices because that's what Himmel did. Because, Himmel decided that they were going to go find this special spring, and all they found was a really nice view at the top of the mountain. That same experience, Frieren wanted to show that to her new friends, to her student and her friend.
I feel that Fallon is the best example of the haunting the narrative, because everything our troop is doing, not even our own, our singular troop, but there's like another troop that's trying to, rescue Fallon, right? We have a decisive motivation that our group is acting on, right? But with Frieren, like,
it doesn't even matter the motivation. The fact that they're all there and doing anything that they're doing because of what Himmel did. Again, this is the strongest example of haunting the narrative. It fits absolutely to a T. This is the definition of it, where all the positive feelings and the positive choices associated with this character are dictating how characters react in the present.
This is I'm not trying to strike an argument, but this is making me feel that haunting the narrative is just woman in the fridge steps. Plus.
Yeah, fridging with extra steps.
Again, we went over this. It's the polar
the difference is
in the fridge. It's exactly what it is.
The biggest difference is that the woman in the fridge is usually not even a character. Like, I mean, yes, it's technically a named person, but they're not a character. That you don't know anything about them.
Never cared for.
Yes. Whereas someone like Himmel is deeply explored. He has an emotional presence in the story. He isn't just forgotten about, like tossed to the side. So that is the major difference here. I think I agree with Thaylien that this is a haunting the narrative case.
Well, don't get me wrong. Technically, it is a haunting the narrative case. But what I'm saying is, I'm getting to the point of the difference between this and Woman in the Fridge is so minor. It's so subjective, right?
Again,
I disagree.
I hear what you're saying, Zeno. I hear what you're saying, but it's not minor and subjective. It is entirely the difference between a bad writing narrative and a good writing narrative, where you have the negative influence of putting somebody into the story that is never explored, is never defined, is only there to die as an inciting incident, versus somebody who, even if they died, right, is a character, is present, is felt, and is meaningful to the story for the entire time.
So
their absence is still giving them presence.
My argument is that our actions are a direct result of the culmination of our experiences, right? So no matter what we experience, we are going to choose a given course of actions based on those experiences. Sounds like I'm just going around in circles. I do apologize.
No, you're talking about determinism. It's fine.
Oh, no, you're going somewhere. Come on. Keep cooking.
So the difference here, to me, right, is Frieren is doing everything she would do because she has lived the life she has lived, right? Which is just a narrative storytelling of, hey, we're going to show you her past. We're going to show you, some key points in her life that explain why she is doing these things, right? But she is still living the life that, it's just a narrative storytelling device. The problem with The Woman in the Fridge is that it is just a giant slap in the face to the main character, not to the audience, just to the character. It's a middle finger to the audience, just to motivate the character to go in a different direction, right? And it's a bad narrative device.
Yes,
but
I would counter a little bit of your point there, Xeno, because people do make decisions based on their history, but they react based on the moment. Okay, so if you have time to stop and think, you make choices based on what you know, what you've done before, what seems
I disagree with
right
that.
to you.
I disagree with that.
But in the moment, you can have reactions that are more based on instinctive, right?
Usually when you had more time,
the whole fight, flight, freeze.
No, usually when you have more time to think about it, you've already made the decision. You're just coming up with ways to justify it.
Yes.
I don't think there's a difference between that and reacting.
Yes, there is, because sometimes you do choose other than what your instincts define.
Almost never.
Anecdotal personal experience. Yeah, I've done that loads. Okay. I mean, heck, I'll give you one really good example of that from my point of view. Guess what? My biggest choice of making a choice different from my reactions has been in terms of Kanpai Cast.
Using a camera?
No, I said yes to coming on Kanpai Cast.
Oh.
My first instinct was not to. My first instinct and my second instinct and my third instinct said, no. Let's not appear in front of other people and not be on a podcast.
Nope. See, to me, you'd already deep down made the decision.
And thinking about it.
You already deep down made the decision to say yes. You just needed ways to justify it.
No.
That's my opinion.
That is your opinion, but it's wrong. It is incorrect and factually.
I don't want to get into human psychology right now because I don't think either of us are experts.
Because I have the actual qualifications in it, and you don't.
Doubt.
Anyway,
I think another good character, in this regard, is what's her name? Rico's
yes, mom. I was actually wanting to pivot to that next too because of the same sort of thing.
Like, so I think Rico's mum, who I can't remember the name of,
Liza.
I was like, give Nasuth the opportunity to say, right, her absence and her nebulousness,
and the fact that we hear about her from other people.
Yeah, I feel is a massive haunting the narrative. I feel her...
It would be fridging if we didn't have the other people talking about it. If it didn't continue to inform Rico's opinions or actions and stuff.
Correct.
Ooh. What do you mean inform Rico's actions?
So, oh god, it's been a while since I've watched it. I watched the earlier ones. But essentially, she wants to be like Liza. So the more that she hears about her from people like Ozen, the more she is like, okay, I can do this too. You know, I won't let something stop me like losing my hand. You know.
But at the same time, she has, like, if memory serves, she has zero memories of her mum.
Yes, this is all based on what she hears from other people like Ozen or the one white whistle that they met before Ozen, or I think even...
They met a whistle before Ozen?
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, he may not have been a white whistle. No, I think he was. I'm pretty sure he was. He was on a higher level than that.
Okay.
And it was before Rico, lost her hand or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I think they do meet him again further down, though, which is interesting.
Do they?
I think so. I think they meet him twice. Regardless. Yeah, I think it was the Field of Flowers. He was like the story in the Field of Flowers, because it was, it's actually not they're actually dangerous and stuff. And so he was destroying that when they ran into the first time. Or maybe
Okay.
I have to watch it again. Either way, that's not important. I think even Bondrewd talks about Liza.
I don't remember that.
But she does learn like these things along the way. She learns about the thing, like the circumstances of her birth, so I think these things do push her character in a different trajectory than just going to look to find her mom, because now she has these other things she wants answers to too.
I also think that there's a lot of speculation around Reg and his
relationship to Liza.
And Rico, and there's a whole gamut of things when it comes to Liza. I think the nebulous fact of whether or not she's alive or not is a big, heavy-handed. It's a huge driving force on what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
To me, Himmel's influence on Frieren, not to drive it back too far,
No.
is it's not a crunch factor. It's there. It's ever present in Frieren.
Does it need to be a crunch factor?
It's not. Huh?
Does it need to be a crunch factor, though?
No.
Well, a part of me feels
that's part of the trope. It doesn't have to be. It can be a subtle thing.
But I thought it was supposed to be overwhelming.
No, it's supposed to be
not overwhelming, obsessive, but it's subtle. So a subtle influence that is but other characters can have an obsession over that departed character.
Okay.
I would still say Himmel dominates the story. I would say Himmel dominates the story at least as much as Liza does. Maybe even more. I would say he's more present than Liza.
But how about Rico's exploration of the abyss, and that is heavily influenced by. But
isn't Frieren's reason for journey heavily influenced by Himmel?
No, that's influenced by his presence, right? His past presence. Liza was a complete absence. Yeah?
All right. No, I'll go with that.
So, Rico...
Does that really still prevent her from haunting the narrative, because her presence is felt through other characters' memories of her.
That's just two different ways you can... That's just two different ways you can haunt the narrative. One by being there first, and one by being absent.
But Rico is the one that is motivated to go find out more, to go explore more, to be effectively everything her mum is. Yeah?
I think the difference here is that we've got a proactive character versus a passive character in terms of our protagonist. Frieren is a little bit more of a passive character, whereas Rico is a more proactive character.
Yeah,
but they're both still being haunted.
Okay, I came up with one that I think Xeno might be able to think of more, because he's watched the show and enjoyed it, which is Ranking of Kings.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The protagonist's father dies very, very early into the series, and the story only really dives deep into his character through the eyes of his closest peers and family thereafter who remember him.
I got it, Nasuth.
As well as flashbacks of the time before he becomes king. Right?
Sorry, say that again, because now we're mumbling.
Sorry. So, as I say, the story only dives deep into Bose's character, his boss's character, through the eyes of his peers and his close family who remember him, as well as in flashbacks to the times before he became king. Right? We don't actually... He's an established character early on, but you only flesh him out through everybody who remembers him. Right? And this is more of a posthumous character than haunting the narrative, because it doesn't change who our protagonist really is. It defines him originally, but his choices are based on what happens during the show. But at the same time, his father is a character that does pop up again and again and again, and is remembered by everybody that's important.
So are you saying that he is not haunting the narrative, or he is?
I'd say it can be argued that he is. I think that other people would more define him as a posthumous character than haunting the narrative.
And this is a perfect parallel to Light and L, because his father doesn't die. His father takes over his second son's body. His father is there the entire time.
Ooh.
Right?
So I was wondering if that was going to be
fantastic for haunting the narrative then.
Right?
Well, I think Xeno's saying that if you accept this as haunting the narrative, you have to accept L's L's alter ego, hidden identity as haunting the narrative.
Yeah.
No, I don't. That's two completely different things. That's two completely different things. L hiding his own name doesn't change who L is.
But both days hiding his identity.
L still remains a completely perfect. Does our protagonist know that his father has taken over the body?
When they eventually come to
when they
blows,
eventually,
yes.
yeah. How long is that narratively?
Oh, fuck.
Whereas Light's identity is
matter of a couple of episodes, or matter of most of the series?
No. So I'm going to do it in setting time. It is like maybe a day tops, right?
But how many episodes?
The whole series is like a really condensed period. It's not like weeks, months, or years. It is just
so
like
it's a season of 24 where it all takes place over a day.
So no, and he's not haunting the narrative. I didn't realize that you've watched the series, so you know that he comes back and is a present character through the rest of the show. But again, they don't actually dive into who he is directly through that interaction, do they?
I would also argue
that's who he is now.
I would also argue that Boji doesn't know the same way that Light knows that there's another identity the whole time. He knows the whole time there's another identity that he needs to figure out, whereas Boji has no clue until it's revealed, as far as I understand.
No, but it's revealed really quickly to Boji.
But in terms of the episode number, episode count, how many episodes is it?
It's quite a lot, but that's only because of like how the narrative structure.
But if the narrative only covers a day, we have to take it in terms of that. You know how much time of the day do they spend?
I'm actually with Xeno on that point. I think because the character finds out quickly in terms of time, and the audience finds out fairly quickly as well.
No, the audience doesn't find out fairly quickly. The audience has to wait episodes and episodes and episodes and episodes and episodes.
So again, in the time frame that this show takes place, I would say no, because we don't. Do we see anything that this character does to subtly drive the narrative while he's taken over his second son's body?
Yes.
He railroads the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I think his brother...
So it's direct intervention. It's actual manipulation.
It's like
you can see it happening. There's no, I think back to what my father would do and he would do this. No, his father is right there. And in fact, no, not haunting the narrative. I would go. I stand corrected.
I would say I think your comparison to Xeno, I think your comparison to Griffith or even Knives doesn't work here, because they knew that Knives was doing all sending the gun guns. They knew that Griffith was sending the demons, whereas they don't know anything about Bocchi. Bose.
The problem here is, I'm pretty sure it's Bocchi, but Bocchi.
No, Bocchi's the kid. Bocchi's the kid. Bose's the dad.
Oh, sorry. The difference. So the problem here is that when you got shows like Death Note or Berserk or
they kind of
what was the other one we said 2 seconds ago?
Trigun.
Trigun.
Yes, Trigun.
Yes.
The difference here is that we know for a fact canonically in the narrative days or months pass, right? But
sometimes even years.
Technically Trigun, yeah, because you could talk about the July
Trigun has
incident.
years.
Okay.
Not from before the start of the show to the point we meet Vash. Years where he hasn't even seen knives, but he's still being driven by him.
But with Ranking of Kings, like, it is such a short period. It might be like a week tops.
Yeah, I just disagree with you two on this. I think you have to take it in terms of how long the length of the story is, and not just how long the day, how much time passes in the world.
Because the audience is aware that the passage of time is stretched out from that small passage.
It's still the length of the narrative and not the length of the in-world time.
Right, but what might completely kill this for Nasuth is, so does Frieza haunt the narrative in Dragon Ball?
No.
But you have to wait months, maybe even years, before you actually see Frieza in the Namek Saga.
But for them in Saga, it's only a few days.
An hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like...
I think that's more foreshadowing than because you don't learn anything about Frieza. The most you learn about Frieza before he actually shows up is that he's got a Frieza Force. That's it.
And he's incredibly powerful.
You learn way more about knives. You learn way more about knives before you see him. You learn way more about
the King, the Planetary Sun.
Yes.
Okay. You learn way more about L. You learn way more about Griffith before they are ever in haunting the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about that. I'm mostly just fucking with you.
I know. Yeah, I know you are.
Mostly. So we are coming up to that
5 minutes.
Do you want to mention anything else in the thing? Nasuth, you brought Pluto.
I did bring Pluto. I brought a few other ones, but if you want to talk about Pluto,
which I think would be a good little mention before we round up.
So the basically the idea in this one is that the initial robot that dies is the motivation for everything they do, and it keeps getting called back to because it's so important. Why did this robot die? Why did this start other robots dying? What is going on? The whole thing is an investigation into this robot's death. And so even though other stuff does come up and it does eventually go other places, that incident is never really let go. So it's not really a fridging, even though you don't ever see that character beforehand. You learn about it as you go along.
Yes. It's
I swear,
because I would say I would be more into the point that this guy, the guy who killed the first guy to kill a human, is haunting the narrative more than the original death. He's
more like a in Shakespeare when ghosts would show up to exposit and let the audience know what's going on. He's more like that to me, which I guess means he's haunting the narrative.
See, because his choices showed that robots have fully developed emotional centers.
Yeah.
And can feel anger, can feel rage that override their logic. Every human that knows this made choices to shut that knowledge down. And their choices based on that, even to the point of keeping this robot locked up underground so far, mean that...
And not killing it because they don't know if they'll need it for something.
Yeah, not kill him themselves either. Means that the other robots can come to speak with him and learn the truth and have that presence felt in their choices thereafter. Especially Astro, having him come down to talk, having him realize what the truth of that is, and having his own mind come to terms with it, changes how he acts immensely.
So,
and of course, there's our detective in there as well, because he's got.
But given that he's still alive, I don't know that it counts.
Mm-hmm.
So I started watching this while I was away in Japan, and I think I got 4 episodes in. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic series. I really want to watch more of it, but I kind of wish that the episodes weren't an hour long, because they are very heavy. right? They are very dense episodes.
It is a
and
drama.
It's just like, holy crap!
Nasuth, this is why he didn't finish his other show.
What?
He used the 4 hours of that stored in there instead of
watching
instead of his actual show. He was supposed to be watching for the show.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that unless it comes back in later episodes, that the first death really has any influence over the series.
No, compared to the choices that everybody makes around the other guy. I mean, yes, there's also the original, the guy that's
like
actually killed.
It's really on the line, because you could say it is essentially an inciting incident that isn't as present as other things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say that it's not. I'd say again, it's an inciting incident. Somebody died, and it
would be
really matter
fridging.
who they are.
It would be fridging if we didn't learn more about him.
Mean the same thing.
It would be fridging if we didn't learn more about him as the series goes on. Like if it was just a throwaway character that had no other importance than to start the investigation. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
It may not go as far as haunting, though.
Nope. I don't think it goes into haunting.
Any honorable mentions that anyone wants to throw out? I'd like to throw out how about to say Apothecary Diaries? No, Apocalypse Hotel. Because Humanity. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Humanity is
Yep.
Yeah. I would say for Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, The Laughing Man haunts the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one, but I do think it's accurate.
Because it's his presence and his change. It incites everything, but also goes through and progressively changes how people react.
It almost feels more active than a ghost should be.
Well, one of the key things as part of season 2 of Standalone Complex is they ask, are we having another Laughing Man incident?
True.
So there is a knock-on effect.
Fair enough.
I think another one I want to throw out because it's so stupid is Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Because literally, Doman Kashu, like the first thing he does is like, "Have you seen this man?" It's like, it's a picture of his missing brother. So,
okay, fair enough. There's a thing up here somewhere. Yeah, Gundam. Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Yeah, one present absence informed with Kyoji trying to save another of his father being in prison in cryosleep. Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's definitely on the present absence list.
I think there's an argument to be made for Aaron's mother in Attack on Titan. You could say she's a fridge, but I don't think so, because so much of what Aaron does is in relation to that. Even so far as going to the end, when they start doing the time travel bullshit. Yeah.
All right. The exact opposite of it would be Cowboy Bebop, because while you have Spike's lover and enemy, or best friend turned enemy, be an influence on him, they're almost entirely unmentioned in the narrative.
Yeah. Well, because it's episodic.
And even Spike's motivations, in the most part, are just to get more money and continue doing what he's doing until they come back later on.
Yeah.
And then he's all about that instead of the money making and money and bounty hunting. So that's more of a plot device switch, where story's one thing, then suddenly something else happens and it's all about that.
My last one is Deadman Wonderland. So the main kid in Deadman Wonderland, unfortunately, I do not recommend people to watch it because it does not end and we don't get it. Anyway. But our main kid, he is heavily influenced by the masked stranger that murderized his class.
Yes.
And he's out to hunt them down and everything, not knowing who they are, and they're right next to them the entire time. Cough, cough, death note.
I think obviously Fullmetal Alchemist. I think you can definitely say Trisha Elric, but I think you might also be able to say Hohenheim.
Hohenheim more.
Yeah.
Trisha has too many elements of fridging.
She does have a lot of fridging elements,
but she's the inciting incident. Whereas Hohenheim, his choices, his whole thing on there is that he's vanished and he's a shady background character that is influencing things as they're going on the entire time.
See, I think there's a bit of both, because I think Trisha's death informs how Ed and Al view alchemy and their bond as brothers and everything like that.
Yes,
and I think that is something that comes up again and again. But I think in terms of the actual narrative push, then yes, Hohenheim 100% is the bigger presence in terms of that. So in terms of character development, Trisha. In terms of world development, Hohenheim.
See, part of me feels like Trish is the fridge and Hohenheim's neither.
Yeah.
Well, he's more of just a character who's doing his thing. Like, he's not a driving force behind the brothers doing anything. His absence.
No, but his actions have led a knock-on effect, because he let the dwarf in the flask loose. Right? If he hadn't done that, none of the story would be going on.
And his movements are defining the world, not the characters.
Wait, whoa. He didn't let the dwarf in the flask loose at all. The dwarf in the flask got himself free. Okay,
fair enough. But I do want to be clear that I'm talking about the dwarf. But he was the one that got it, was studying it in the first place.
No, he wasn't. He was a slave. The dwarf in the flask actually taught him how to read.
Fuck, it's been a long time since I watched this.
It has been a long time. Yeah.
Anyway.
But either way, I do think that his interactions with the dwarf in the flask are like a huge reason why things are the way they are.
That's kind of fair.
All right.
Right. So to sum up, what have we learned, Xeno?
I feel that characters that are past, that are dead, that are not Schrodinger's villain. I forgot to put Jojo on this, by the way. I was going to put Dio.
We would have got into quite a double with that, wouldn't we?
But I feel that characters that have actually passed on, that have had a major league positive influence on a character, definitely not a fridge, right? But I feel that haunting the narrative should have more of a urgency to the thing. Otherwise, they're just characters that are just living their lives, and I feel like you don't need to put a label on this. That's my personal take on it.
I would disagree with that take. I feel that putting a label on it allows people to see the difference between a bad narrative point and a good narrative point, where characters should always be characters. We discussed this in the fridging episode. Characters should be characters, and we should feel for them. They should never be just created to die or created to be an inciting incident. And so that's why I wanted this to be a topic.
But to interject, labeling things can also spoil the narrative if you put a label on it and I now know what's going to happen because haunting the narrative is a tag.
It doesn't need to be a tag. It's just a trope. Same with fridging.
No, but you get my point.
You could see it as a tag. Yeah. People need to be careful when they're looking at tags. I think to me, this is similar to when a cliche versus an archetype. Cliches are cliche for a reason. It's because deep down they're based on something that's actually real and can be a good narrative device when it's used properly. And so I think that's a similar thing that what we're seeing here is fridging is
if it's done right.
Yes, exactly. Fridging is it's bad version of a dead character that's used as a motivation for the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Should we move on then?
That's
Cool. Moving on to the supporter questions. First of all, RickQ7 just SPAM says, "Thank ye for you listening to this old salts blabbering on about the most refined form of artistic rendering of a story that hath..."
He means air, E-R-E, hath air been
subscribed to Parchment. We hope you like our ramblings and wondered if
No, did he?
What?
Nothing. Thinking to myself.
We hope you liked our ramblings and wondered if it clicked or rang any bells.
ding, ding, ding.
Ring that bell.
Lol. Anyway, RickQ7 just SPAM asks, what are your favorite artistic renders of beautiful scenery in anime?
Ooh.
Oh, it's got to be Ghibli movies. I never forget the first time I saw the toxic jungle in Nausicaa.
I think he's
That
right.
was beautiful.
I think he's right. I don't know. There's some really interesting ones where they'd make waves look like the old art style in Japan. I can't remember what the name of it is. Where the waves are like really detailed and have those splashy bits at the edges. Those are also really good. I think Demon Slayer tries to do that with its magic spells, but
Yes.
I mean the real thing, not
Oh,
just
hasn't Witch Hatatalia done some really good backgrounds?
probably.
Yeah, no, I really like the cityscapes that they have in Witch Hatatalia.
Mm-hmm.
I think I also really like the Delicious in Dungeon ones, especially like I think it's like the second level where it's like all trees.
Giant trees, yeah.
In the dungeon.
Made in Abyss, yeah.
Oh god, Made in Abyss.
Oh, some of those, brilliant.
Right. Witch Hat Thaylien asks, when Xeno was far away in Japan, did he haunt the Kanpai Cast narrative? I watched the news. I did not watch the cast. I did not have the time to watch the cast.
Wow. You went all that trouble of getting those guests, and then you didn't even look at them.
I'm being honest, man. Right.
If you're watching, we're really sorry. Plant, we're really sorry. We're really sorry. Just
Anna.
Right. Witch Hat Thaylien also asks, does Loz count for this episode, or do we not bring him up enough?
We don't bring him up enough.
We fridged Loz.
Loz.
And then, wow, moving on to the comments from the news, there weren't any.
Nobody says anything. No, seriously, not a single comment.
Okay. And then moving on to the cast, Ricky says, welcome back to the place that has no air, so conditioned air. Oh my god, and water pressure, right? I swear to God.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
I have just dug out my portable aircon unit from storage. So
sometimes you want to go where everybody has AC.
Yeah. So when I get the lead attached tomorrow and have that properly piped out the window, I will have AC.
Is it not pissing it down with rain for you tomorrow?
Well,
it doesn't matter. The window's closed.
It's actually was really cloudy today and then cleared up and got really sunny. It's warm in here to the point where I've actually got my fan on behind me because it's 25, 26 degrees in here.
I think it's like 26, 27 here, but it's like it's supposed to be pissing it down with rain all week.
It's been doing that. It's been doing that
anyway,
for like
just
the last
been up
2
on the Air
weeks.
Ministry roof, and it will be pissing it down with rain.
Anyway, right. Well, that's it for. That's it for the comments. And now we're going to move on to the memes.
Memes. We take up to 6 Euro memes a week. You can come to our Discord, which I mentioned earlier, and drop them in the special channel that we don't see beforehand, so we can react to them first time seeing them here. We have 3 viewer memes this week. Thank you for those.
I loved you. Sorry, no. You were you were my sister, Anakin. I loved you. Obi-Chan Baka. My
little sister is a Sith Lord.
Lol.
At least it's not an incest one.
Ooh.
I don't understand this one. It's Eric. Let me down, you ginger.
Oh my
Who is
God.
that? Is that supposed to be Makima? That's not Makima, right? Who is that?
That is
I think
Makima.
it's supposed to be Makima, yeah.
That's Makima.
There's a whole series of these.
Looks very
Of them interacting with the South Park characters.
Let me down, you ginger.
God. This is the first one I've seen.
I brought one last week. The Isle's president is Trump, but the only president I'll ever accept is Rios.
Not wrong.
You know what? I hate High School Double D, but I'd still take her over just much better redhead. All right, my first one is a video meme.
Trump's an orange head, isn't he?
My fitness watch must be thinking.
Oh my God.
My fitness watch must be thinking I'm doing it at 1 a.m. Okay, that's gonna get us copyright strike. So One Piece
my
characters in a
God.
nutshell.
Yeah, not wrong.
When you spent hours looking for anime to watch, only to drop it after 1 episode.
Aww.
Bocce.
One Piece fans? Logan Paul.
I saw this one. It was yesterday. Yeah, brilliant.
That's awful. Yeah.
Botan and the gang after drinking out. Me after drinking out.
Botan?
Yes.
I don't actually know who Botan is, but I don't care.
Oh,
Fair.
just from that that one with the
Is it Glass of God?
office,
Oh.
no, the office girl that transforms when she goes out drinking after
Okay.
hours.
I have no idea what that is, but all right. And my last
neither do
one.
I.
Hockey, cursed energy, magic, stands, key, quirks, chakra, none, Reitatsu slash, yeah, or Bojujutsu. Which one would you choose?
I'm not
Stands.
allowed to say.
Stands.
All right, on to
I
Thaylien.
might take hockey actually. But
You're all wrong. Stands.
that's me after stepping outside for 1 second last week.
Yep.
Not wrong.
Yep. Oh.
Visa. I don't think people should be allowed to buy these types of games. Steam and everyone else. Nobody's talking to you. Just process the payment processor.
Yeah.
Also, that's Visa and MasterCard, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. If you have any questions, just go psst, 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 and I'll come to you.
Oh my God.
I think I actually had the Kanpai Cast account tweet this one out. Or
That's brilliant.
Blue Skies,
If it
Blue
did,
Skies
I
this one
didn't
out.
notice it in the meantime.
Maybe coming up. I don't know. Either way.
Trucker, no. What? Where am I?
Oh my God.
Wait, was that number 5? No, this is number 5.
Hey, check it out. There's a new Pokemon species. I'm going to register it to the Pokedex. And hey, where'd it go? Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
Homie,
Brilliant.
no. And your last one's a video. Also, Xeno's first 3 are videos, so get ready for that.
Anime Protagonist Anonymous is now in session again. You guys, I've decided. I'm gonna ask out Sister Lily today.
Don't you do that every day?
No, every day I ask her to marry me and bear my children.
Voice isn't annoying enough.
I'm showing restraint.
You're totally gonna cave as soon as you see her.
Probably, but it's fun to have ambition.
I have a question. Out of what?
Huh?
What are you asking your sister to come out of?
No, not come out. Go out.
Go out of what?
Not of what? With me.
Why is she inside of you at all?
She's not. I mean a date.
Why are we talking about fruit now? We were just talking about a lady. Can someone stop the world's stupidest tennis match before I feel compelled to meet God again?
He means romance.
Oh, ew. Sister Lily is the most beautiful woman in the world, excuse you!
Why would that matter?
Because he wants to have sex with the girl in his show. Are we done beating around the dumbass-shaped bush yet?
Why would he want to do that? Okay, I'm not smart either, but I can't tell if he's joking.
Guys, let's not bully the guy just because he doesn't have hot girls in his show.
I guess you're right. They're probably really cold. I mean, they barely do anything.
And you've never...
Nope.
With any of...
Rin, please, there's nothing wrong with being a virgin, right, Tanjiro?
Yes, our stories go in the exact same direction, Izuku.
And Kafka, you're well into your 30s, and you've never known the touch of a woman, right?
Whoa, time out. Where are we getting our information?
Even you, Aaron, you died a virgin, and you turned out... Guys, I think you're missing the point. It's not that I haven't, it's that I don't want to.
Ever?
Yeah, why not?
So what do you think about all day?
Meat, sleep, king of the pirates. And when you're not thinking about that stuff, I don't know, like whatever I want. My God, he must get so much done.
And the disposable income. You're not thinking about the disposable income.
But what about boobs?
What about him?
This is the strongest man in the multiverse.
Not that I don't appreciate the compliment, but you guys do know there's more to life than girls and their weird squishy parts, right?
I mean, that's what I've been saying this whole time. Back me up, Aaron.
He cries himself to sleep at night.
Stupid time-traveling narc.
I don't like this one as much as the other guy, or this guy as much as the other one that does the actual cosplay and stuff, but he's still pretty good.
He's got the characters down right.
All right, on to Xeno.
I don't know if anyone has told you this today, but you deserve some money. I don't have any to give you, but I just thought that you should know that you deserve some money.
I think we've done this one
before. Character swap version of mine from last week.
I don't okay. Just say the second one is AI.
Oh, Xeno, you monster.
But it's hilarious.
Oh my God. Didn't make him naked first. Fail. Also not wearing a skirt. Huge fail. Not even worth it. I can't believe you, Xeno.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Can't believe you.
That is actually worth the use of it, I think.
What do you think of that, El?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, fair.
No wrong. No alcohol, no profanity, no smoking, no nudity, no penguins.
Aww, poor Pen Pen.
That feels targeted.
Next one's a video.
I remember this from the 70s. There was intense.
These guys again. Oh, I love these guys.
In a van. They stopped and there was a chainsaw man there. That looks like one of the people that got chopped in half. They chopping people in half in this book.
There is some people chopping in half, I would say.
I like that. I'm into murder porn. Is that this?
Yeah, I maybe you could call it that.
Sounds like Ace knows it when they see it.
Exactly.
They don't want to name it.
And then my last one is Image.
That's brilliant. That's just. Are you calling
Right.
Xeno, are you calling him short? I don't think you want to do that. I don't know.
I'm not saying anything. Anyway, that's it for the memes.
Definitely not calling this beam sprout.
No. That's it for this week's episode of Kanpai Cast. I don't think we've got anything planned thus far for next week. Hey, if you want to suggest a topic, if you've gotten this far, why don't you just suggest a topic and maybe we'll actually do it for an episode. Yep. You can do that on the Discord or in the comments. You know, either's
either
good.
way.
And now, huh?
I said either way. Yeah.
Yep. And now it's on the bottoms up and Kanpai.
Kanpai.